Hi everyone, today I'm going to tell you how to fill the Form 80. So this is how a Form 80 would look like, and if you see the top right hand corner, it states that the application needs to be filled in block letters. So I will be filling this up in capitals. The part A, applicant details. So the first detail is the family name. So let me just mention it as David, and given names Sarah. So you need to fill this up as per your passport. I will tick here as female, and the date of birth would be, let's say, 1988, and the suburb of birth I will mention as Dehiwala, and the town city Colombo, as I'm from Colombo, and then the state would again be Colombo, and the country Sri Lanka. So as a Sri Lankan, this question 2 will not be applicable for us, but if you are a Chinese, of course you need to tick as yes, but since it's not applicable, I'm going to tick it as no, and this also no. And let's move to the next question. So the next is, have you been known by any other name? So in my case it's no, but if you do have any other names, you need to mention it here. And have you ever had a different date of birth? So in most cases it would be no. And do you currently have a citizenship from any country? So it would be yes. How did you gain the citizenship? So my current citizenship is from Sri Lanka, and it's gained by birth. So I'm going to mention it as by birth, and the date granted would be my date of birth, obviously. So I'm going to mention my date of birth here again. This is not my exact date of birth anyways, it's just a random number. So I will mention that there. And then do you hold or have you held citizenship from any other country? So in my case it's no. And do you currently have a permanent residency rights in any other country? Again, it's no, but if you do have a permanent residency or a citizenship from another country, you need to list out the details here. So let's move to the next question, and it's about your travel document details, or rather your passport. So do you have a current passport? So yes, and the travel document number would be yes. I'll just mention a number here, and then the country of passport would be Sri Lanka, and the date of issue, let's say 2010. Is this the original issue date? Yes, and you need to mention the expiry date as well. So I will mention 21st April 2020. So since the Sri Lankan passports are valid for 10 years, so I'm going to mention it at 220, and then 2020, and the nationality again would be Sri Lankan. Place of issue, the authority of Colombo, and name on the document, if the same as question 1. So it is as same as question 1. So I'm going to type as same as question 1. But if you do have a different name, you can mention it here. If not, the answer would be same as question 1. So let's move to the next page. Do you have any other current passport or travel document? So in my case, it's no. And have you ever had any previous passports or travel documents? So it is yes. I do have an expired passport, so I'm going to tick it as expired. And also if you have a lost or a stolen passport, you can tick here, and provide the details. Do you have or remember any of the document details? So I'm going to mention the details about my expired passport. So yes, I do have the details, and I'm going to provide my old passport number here, and the country again would be Sri Lanka, and date of issue, let's say 2010 again. Nationality Sri Lankan. The place of issue would be Authority of Colombo. And then again, if the name is same as question 1, so it's same as question 1, I'm gonna type the same thing here. Okay, so next is the part C, which requires your identity documents. So do you currently have or have ever had a national identity card, including birth registration? So yes. So I'm going to mention my NIC number here. As Sri Lankans, we do have an NIC number. So just provide your NIC number, the country, and the identification number. And also you can mention your driving license numbers as well. Let's say driving license. Sri Lanka. And then also, since they have requested for the birth registration, yeah, of course you can give your birth registration number as well. So you can list out your NIC, birth registration, and your driving license here. And if you do have any other identification numbers also, you can list it out there. So let's go to the next page. And do you have any email address? Of course, yes. So you need to say yes and provide your email address here. Do you have any, if you do have another, like a different email also, you can include it here. Do you have a current contact telephone number? Yes. So you can mention your number here. And then your address history for the last 10 years. So you need to list out your address for the last 10 years, starting from your current address. So you can start from your current address. You can mention this as current and include your current address and the country. And if you have lived in more than like 1 or 2 places, you have to list out all the addresses here. And if you do have an issue with the space, you can go back to the last page. I will show you at the latter part of my briefing. So you can go to the last page and enter whatever that you are unable to enter it here. So the part E, again, it's about international travel movements. Have you traveled to any country other than Australia in the last 10 years? So for the last 10 years, you need to mention to list out all your travel history here. So you need to mention the day, month, year, the duration from which date to which date, and then the reason for the travel. It can be holiday, it can be to visit your family, or it can be business or anything official. Any travel history needs to be included here. And the country, you need to mention where you were traveling to. So you mention the country here as well. And then let's move to the next question. It's about your employment. So give details of all employment and unemployment. So you need to mention all your employment and unemployment details. If you have any gaps between your jobs, then that also needs to be updated here. So let's say you need to start with your current role. So you can mention the month, year, no, I mean, if the current job details here, the name of the company, then the business. Let's say if you're working in the banking sector, you can mention here as banking. The first column would be your company name. Then you can say if you're in the banking sector, you can say it's banking, and then you can give your the designation or your role. Let's say manager, customer service, or whatever. And then you can mention your main duties or responsibilities in the same column, and you need to mention the address of your organization and then the country. So starting from your current employment, you need to mention all the employment that you were working previously. You can just list it out here. And then the next question is about your education. You need to list out all your academic educations, the university degrees, your vocational education, and whatever that the academic related ones, you need to mention it here. So you need to mention the month, year, the duration here, and the name of the institute, and the name of your course here, and the address and the country. I hope it's clear. So you need to list out all your qualifications, academic qualifications here. So the part H, it's about your proposed travel. So I mean, I'm gonna fill this out based on assuming that I'm applying for a PR from offshore. So based on that, I will be filling this out here. So are you currently in Australia? Since I'm applying from offshore, I would say no. And if I had clicked yes, then I need to go to the question number 25 and thereafter. But since I have clicked no, I'm gonna go to question number 22. So proposed travel, why are you traveling to Australia? So since it's a PR, I would say live and work. Do you have any proposed or booked travel dates for your journey? So I'm not sure about it, so I'm going to say no. Are you applying for a temporary visa? So the permanent PR is not a temporary visa, so I'm going to say no. So since it's no, I have to go to part I. If it is yes, of course I need to give details here, but since it's no, I'm going to go to part I. So the part I, it's about the address. Are you currently in Australia? So since I'm applying this from offshore, it's going to be no again. So located outside Australia. Do you know any details of the places you will stay during the time in Australia? So I have no clue about it, so I'm going to say no. And these are not applicable. Will you stay at any other address? No, I would say it's not applicable again. And if it is no, then you need to go to part J. So part J, are you currently in Australia? No. And have you been to Australia before? So if you have been to Australia before, you can take yes and mention the details here. Give the information here. If not, you can say no and move to the next question. So this part K is about your character. So mostly it's going to be no. So you just tick no. But if you do have any thing which aligns with yes, then of course you have to give the details on the other side. But in most cases it would be no. So I'm not going to fill this out. So you just click no for all these boxes and move to the next question. So part L, it's about the military service. Have you undertaken any military service? So it would be no. But if you do have anything, you can provide the details here. So part M, this is also not applicable. So it's no and again no. About the deportations and the employed by intelligence or security agency. So it's going to be no again. Visa refusals, no. Citizenship refusals, in my case, it's going to be no. And then part Q, it's about the associated people. So do you have a partner? So if you do have a partner, you need to mention at yes, and then you have to mention the relationship. Let's say it's husband. Then you have to give your husband's family name, his, as per the passport, his given names, and date of birth. And here the Chinese commercial code is of course not applicable, so you can mention it as not applicable. And as per his birth certificate, you need to mention his birth details here and the citizenships. And if he's migrating with you, then of course yes or no. And in my case, I'm not married, so I'm going to tick as no. And the next is, do you have children? So if you do have children, you mention as yes, and then give in these details as requested. But then since it's no for me, I'm going to tick it as no and move to the next question. Do you know details of your parents? So you need to mention the details of your parents. So yes. So you need to provide the details here, the relationship and all other information as previous requested. And then if your parent is deceased, then of course you need to tick here. You need to mention as deceased as well. So give in your parents information here and move to the next question. Do you have siblings? So if you do have siblings, mention as yes, and you can fill up this. If you don't have any siblings, then you can say no. In my case, it's yes, but I'm not going to fill out these details because I think you can figure it out how to fill this out. So other traveling family members, again, it's no. And do you have any personal contacts in Australia? If you do have a personal contact, you can say yes and then provide the details of all their details, their name, their date of birth, their address, the nationality, and all these details. And if you don't have anybody, then of course you can say no and move forward. So part R is, are you being sponsored by or associated with a business organization? Are you being sponsored by an employer? It's no, but if you do have a sponsorship or a work employment contract, then of course you can provide the details. So I'm going to tick no here. And then does the employer business have any other? So this is again no. And actually this is not relevant, so you can just tick it off. So since you have already mentioned as no, you need to go to part S, and you need to fill up. You don't have to fill this question number 50 to 52 because you have selected no here. So you can move to part S, and it's the declaration. You need to mention the date here and then place your signature. So if you can even place a digital signature, that's fine, or else you can take a physical signature of yourself and upload it. If not, the other option is that you take a printout and sign it off and scan the document. So there are three options where you can place the signatures. Whatever that is preferable for you, you can choose that option. And then there is one more last page where you can enter any additional information that you have missed out in the application that you need to inform them, or else that whatever, if you had any space issues while filling out the application form in your previous questions, you can list out all the details here. So that's it about the Form 80. I hope this briefing was helpful to you, and I wish you all the best.